Yet again, a Malayalam film redefines an established genre and creates something new and innovative. This time it was a boxing film. But can you even call it a boxing film? Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and today we're talking about the latest Malayalam film, Alappuzha Gymkhana. Written and directed by Khalid Rahman and co-written by Sreeni Saseendran. Got to watch the film first day, first show, which was at 7 p.m. in the evening, and it was a packed show. I think one of the most packed show I've seen a Malayalam film with. Maybe DQ's group was more packed. And having a packed theater helps you gauge how well the film is working, especially for a film in a language you don't understand. Now, this being a sports film, that to boxing, this genre comes with its own tropes, like having an underdog story, watching the rise and fall and again rise of a main character. You need to have that Rocky training montage, that epic final fight. These are the preconceived notions you may have, but this film is like, no. All the elements I mentioned are present, but they're dealt with very differently. They've switched it around. And the final product which you get from all that is a pretty fun adventure of boxing, which will surprise you at many moments. But does it satisfy you by the end? That has to be determined. Now, I do need to mention here that this film has this cultural layer which for a non-Malayali like me wouldn't get. And it may come from the place the film is set in, the way the dialogues are being delivered, the slang, the nuances there, which the subtitles cannot do justice. Especially for a film where we have ensemble cast, they're talking over each other. It was a very hard film to watch with subtitles. And you understand that when there are moments where the audience is cheering, they're having a big laugh, but you don't understand what's really going on. But there are also some genuine moments where I also laughed out. So it's a mix of both. So first let's talk about what works really well. The writing is very consistent. They never deviate, they never lose their focus and the intention. The setup of this world, it almost reminds me of an anime like Pokemon or Beyblade, where we have this group of friends who are into this one sport and they go on this journey, they learn, they go and compete in a tournament where each one is a unique character. They all have their own fights, and it's a mix of friends and colleagues together. They all come from their own world with their own baggage. And the best part is that the film makes you care about all of them. They each get a shining moment. And it's not that film, where everything is about the hero. That's what surprised me the most in this film. We do have a main lead, but it's actually an ensemble cast. Now, coming to the boxing in the film, the way it's visualized, very, very authentic. And the film never becomes a tutorial about boxing. They never sit down and explain you how it works. How do you get the point? What are the different moves? And that's a choice the film is making. It doesn't want to waste time on all these things. And that's why I ask, can you really call it a boxing film? Yes, it depicts boxing. It's the sport they are getting into, but it's not teaching you boxing. When we get in the tournament, we see all the teams, all the players. They successfully captured the vibe of that. Whereas an audience, you feel like you're also present there attending this tournament. The execution of the matches is outstanding. It's so easy to follow what's going on, what are the stakes here, what are the motivations of the characters. You feel the punches, you are involved in it. You are saying yes, no, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Yes, do it, as if you're watching a real sport. And yes, the makers have taken some cinematic liberties to make it more dramatic, but still I feel it's the closest to the real thing. The use of slow-mo is very minimal. Most of the bout is real time, and you don't get to see that a lot. Most such Indian films delve into the slow motion or some unrealistic boxing movement, which if you have seen real boxing, it doesn't happen. It's so quick. At many moments, they stretch out the matches, and you see the effort the actors are putting in. It looks like they have trained hard, to really participate here. The way each round is going on, the way they're fighting, the way they're getting tired, all of it just adds to the experience. And I think they were able to pull it off so well because the director made this film according to his own experience he had in his life. And I feel it works also because, coming back to the writing, that it's very unexpected. It's not that typical formula, oh, he'll fight or he'll lose or he has to win and keep winning because they are the heroes. No, you have no idea who will win or who will not, or how will the match end. And that's the nature of sport. It's unexpected, and they retain that in the film. Overall, I feel this is a film which will inspire a lot of people to get into boxing or any other sport. It makes it look fun, that a group of friends can go together and learn this. But they don't do it the typical way, where most films, it's about the inspirational story, about dedication, about hard work, and you get inspired from that. The film does talk about these elements, but in a very different way. I think the whole cast did a great job. Naslen was there with his charm, which we have seen before. But I think the standout were the new actors we saw in the film. At least I saw. I've not seen them before, but the way they fit here were really, really good. And here you want to commend the makers for going with a young cast, because it's actually a big issue in many film industries where you don't have young actors where you can, pitch a big film with them, because you want the return on the investment. And yet again, it's a special thing about Malayalam cinema cinema. That there are makers who will back a film with young actors, young talent, and tell the story they want to tell, instead of hiring older actors to play younger characters. And that mostly doesn't work out. Now coming to what really didn't work for me. Now this film is from a director of Thalumala, and I feel in comparison, this film doesn't feel that polished. The writing of the film is solid throughout, but the execution is uneven. Sometimes it's really good, especially during the boxing, but at certain moments it just doesn't work that well. Especially the editing. Like during those boxing moments, it just works like a charm. But overall, it's not very seamless. The way we transition from one scene to the other, especially the first 15 minutes, it's really off to me. It just felt awkward. I don't know if it was the framing of the characters. It just felt weird. Like there's, lack of energy. Like I could sense that something is not right here. Also through the film, you are unable to track the time. How many days have passed? How long has it been? How long was the tournament? Was it just one day or multiple days? Like I couldn't tell that. Maybe it was in the dialogues, subtitles didn't translate that well. I didn't see any extra text mentioning how many days it has been. Now this can be both a good or a bad thing. Good is that you don't even realize how the time is passing, but bad is that you're unable to follow the events how they are happening. There were certain subplots which by the end of the film didn't go anywhere. Maybe they were just moments to have fun, to give out some laughter from them. But with the overall story, did they really add something? I was not sure. I noticed something very small. A small technical thing which I think most people would not even care, but I did notice it. And it is with the sound mixing. You know how certain times films show a character is far away, so the dialogue we hear, it feels like it's coming from very far away. And that adds depth and distance in that scene. And they did something like that in the film. But the problem is, the characters are sitting very close together. So when the camera is on one character and he's speaking, it's normal. But the moment the camera turns to someone else and that character is still speaking, they change the sound as if it's coming from behind the camera. So it's different. But the thing is, we are within that one scene, in that one location. Just the camera movement will actually not change how we hear the dialogue. It should be consistent. And because we were cutting back and forth, it was standing out to me. They have done something here and it's not working. It's distracting. Now with the writing, they had really created these moments where the theater should erupt. But it didn't happen because there was a lack of emphasis on that sequence. And that actually led to a point where I was like, whoa, yes. But the whole theater didn't respond much. And we just quickly went along. That moment was not utilized well. But this again comes to the choice the makers wanted to go with. Maybe a different treatment would have utilized that moment differently. And by the end of the film, it leaves you wanting for more. Like I would love to watch a sequel or maybe a whole TV series because the world is so interesting. This film is definitely a theatrical watch, especially for the Kerala audiences, because I feel it will work for them way better. And this film will become a cult. It will become part of the pop culture. There'll be a lot of memes about it. And the director Khalid Rahman yet again delivers something different, something unique. And maybe today we'll not be able to appreciate that, but in the future when we look back, we will remember it for starting something new. And the achievement is that you're taking an established genre and giving it a new spin, and you get a really entertaining film that deserves applause. Now there are 10 more films that has released this weekend, and until I watch and review them, you can check out my interview with Basil Joseph, where we talked about a lot of things, and also his new film Marana Mas. Definitely check it out. What are your thoughts? Have you seen the film? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.